Hello, hello. This is Zip, and welcome to Zip Tips Live on February 2nd, 2025. I hope everyone is doing fantastic out there. If you're watching this live or when you do watch this, as always, appreciate all the subscribers, all of the comments. The point of this channel is really to build a community that resonates with each other as we travel through this crypto journey. And we all become millionaires, hopefully, in the near future. And we can spend time together on all the most beautiful beaches of the world. With that, it is, again, February 2nd. And just jumping in here on a Sunday here where I am in America. So if it's wherever you are, again, hope you're doing well. And again, if you're new to the channel, I am a utility maxi. I don't hold just one crypto, and we'll talk about some of that today. But I hold all ISO 222 coins, or a majority of them, and diversify my portfolio. And that's what we're going to step into the conversation today. We're going to talk about one of the videos I put out there regarding banks custodying our crypto. And it was not meant as a negative. It was meant to be a positive, and just showing the transgression and the movement of where we are going into the future, and just to get us thinking about the possibilities and the capabilities of, since SAB 121 has been rescinded and 122 is live now, what that can do for us. And again, not a negative, but we'll step through that. We're going to talk about some exit strategies again, and just things that I have stumbled through, and mistakes really, and just have a conversation about them. If you have any comments or anything you want to drop, just go ahead and post those comments in the chat. I will try to answer those as well. And I'm going to pull up some previous comments from some of the videos just to kind of help me walk through some of this conversation. But again, that's what this is. It's a crypto conversation. And just as we walk through the journey together, again, we want to stay positive. I'm about mindset and positivity. You want to make sure your mindset is absolutely positive, especially on days like this. And I hope everyone is holding in their positions, and no one is capitulating and selling their positions unless you absolutely know what you're doing. But yeah, the markets are red. And again, I'm a non-emotional investor. I don't worry about the markets too much because I know the long range macro picture. And that's really what I'm just trying to convey here, is to give you a macro view of where I believe we are going and where the industry is going as a whole. So hopefully that assists you. If you have any questions on that, again, drop the comments. Please subscribe and like, because that'll help the algorithm and get this information out. We are a very, very small subset of folks, and it seems like the only thing in the world is crypto to most of us. But believe me, it's much larger than that. And the normies, as we want to call them, or whatever, I don't know if that's the right term or not. It's not a negative, but they have no idea what is coming. And it's going to be a wave of innovation with stable coins, which really, in my opinion, will be the front end, which will help process payments as the banks start to own some of this stuff. But we'll walk through that. But again, the markets today, yeah, BTC is down below 100 right now. XRP is at 280. Cardano, 86 cents. Stellar, 37. Pretty much red all the way through. However, XDC on the 1 hour is up right now at almost 2%, but we'll see what happens as we transgress through the rest of the week. Again, hold strong. Do not let these things fear you, or any of the other crazy FUD that's out there. Video I dropped yesterday about the XRP FUD and talk of decentralization and all this. Honestly, just understand what you hold, and that's the point of this channel. And this is kind of what I'm doing right now, and all of us, I'm just hanging on. Just hanging on through the storm, so to speak. And I'm not selling anything or letting go of absolutely anything. I'm holding strong. So jumping right into things. So we'll start with the SAB 121 and just kind of dispelling some things that I saw out there as that video dropped, with the banks being able to custody crypto and be able to utilize crypto at this point. So we know this came out this week, Jerome Powell, in this statement. So let's watch this real quick again, just to refresh again. I don't know who's new to crypto and who's not. So we're just going to kind of rehash some things and then dive deeper into the positives of what SAB 122 does for us.
Our role with Bitcoin really is to look at crypto, really is to look at the banks, and we think it's banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in our role with Bitcoin.
So again, banks are able to now utilize crypto, but what does that mean from a big picture? And we'll step right into that. Again, big picture, SAB 121 has been repealed and a flood will hit industries. That's everything that we've been talking about. Tokenization of real estate, tokenization of real world assets, trading and settlements, gaming, payment rails, supply chain, luxury, goods, media. All of this is coming, which is good news for us. And it is absolutely what we want to see. And also, as SAB 121 has been repealed, we know there are policies being pushed as if FIT 21 Act. When all this stuff starts to come into fruition and all the regulation gets implemented, that's when it's really going to be getting exciting. And that's why you want to be holding. But let's take a listen to Tom Emmer to refresh our memories what's going on here.
Jurisdictions. That's why the FIT 21 Act is significant, to set clear and consistent rules for American innovators. Among the many important provisions in this bill is My Securities Clarity Act, bipartisan language tailored specifically to digital assets that provides the legal flexibility for a digital asset project to transition from centralization to decentralization. This transition is critical to the future peer-to-peer digital economy, and I thank the chairman and my friends on the other side of the aisle for working with me to incorporate this section into the bill today. Their work on this extensive framework.
So again, everything going in on the back end now. We've got the administrations in place. The SEC is being changed. Treasury is being changed. President's administration is backing crypto in America to make crypto a crypto capital in America, which benefits the whole world. And I think most of us know that. But how is blockchain going to be leveraged by the banks? And we're going to walk through some of these things. But as you can see here, applications of blockchain for banking. And this, again, is the macro picture, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to happen instantaneously, but broadly, as we're walking this through and the regulations come in, these are the big pictures. It's going to allow settlement and clearance time efficiency, cross-border payments. We know Ripple, XRP, right, which many of us own. That's the big one. Fraud prevention and security. It's going to tighten and eliminate some of the fraud that is being done currently within the current banking system. Asset tokenization, loans and credits, which we're going to step into exactly what does that mean for us? How are we as investors in crypto going to be able to leverage our assets and utilize the banking system to buy more assets? KYC and AML, digital identity, smart contracts, which we talk about, regulatory compliance, trade finance, mortgage and property management, which is an interesting one. Will you be able to take your crypto, leverage it, and go buy another asset with it? And the key word there is leverage it. I'm not selling it. I'm going to leverage my crypto, but we're going to walk through that here in a minute and just kind of speculate on the things that we're going to be able to do in the future, because we are in early, and right now is the time to learn about this system and the capabilities that are going to be coming in the future. but I'm going to pull up something here. So some of the comments, I'm going to step through these comments. Hopefully you can see these and walk through these, and then we're going to dive deeper into what it means from a banking perspective and kind of just speculate. And again, join in, put a comment in there if you have anything that jaunts your mind to endless possibilities. Zip doesn't have all the answers. That's why I'm trying to build this community so we can all work cohesively together as we walk through this. But one of the comments out there in that video that had dropped was the crypto market is shifting from retail speculation to institutional utility. 100%. We know we are still front running this thing, and we are early to the game and still very early to the game, but it's getting closer and closer to that flip of the switch or whatever moment to where the realization of what this technology will do for the banking industry, for countries, is coming fast and steady. But yes, institutional utility and value are coming to our chains, coming to the cryptos that we own. HBAR, XRP, XLM, that institutional value through ETFs and Blackstones, the BlackRocks, and everybody else that is jumping on board is what is promising for us and what is going to make price go up. And that's what we're here for. We want to see the price go up, period, point blank. I mean, yeah, I want to make money, and that's why I'm in crypto, but we're going to get into the exit strategies here in a little bit. But one of the, a lot of the comments or the theme out there was never let bank custody your XRP, never ever. They will use it rent-free or worse. So again, interesting comment. When the banks are allowed and they're custodying your XRP or your HBAR, it's going to be no different, in my opinion, as what they're doing right now. You will still have ownership of it. It's just going on their portfolio, on their ledger, but it's still you that is owning it. And I believe, and we're already starting to see, and I think I have some examples up here, we're starting to see availabilities of staking, almost like a savings account, if you would. So you will be able to actually securely, the banks will be able to manage, you'll be able to leverage the banks to have a savings account that doesn't earn a measly 0.001% or 2% or whatever, but more of a higher profit margin in a secure institutional grade banking environment. So again, I'm not selling my XRP or HBAR to the banks when this all comes into play. I'm just leveraging the banks just like we do today. So the premise, again, when Bitcoin came out, and I'm kind of rolling backwards, when Bitcoin first was introduced in 2009, the whole thing was throw the banks away. We don't want the banks. We want everything to be completely decentralized. That's not reality. We're not going to get rid of the banks. Now, the banks are going to come into this environment, and the networks, meaning XRPs, your crypto, those will still be decentralized. The networks, the backends themselves. However, there will still be some kind of centralized system, financial markets. I'm just not in the belief, and maybe some of you are, that we're going to throw the banks away. That's not reality. It's not practical, and I don't believe, in my opinion, we want that. We want them to inherit and bring on custody of our assets long term, and through tokenization of real world assets, which is coming. One of the other comments here, and again, I kind of touched on this already. Why do they call it decentralized finance when it will all end up global bank in a global currency? Kind of stepped through that already. The networks, the environments, the back end will still be decentralized at that level. The centralization is, yes, the banks themselves and the availability of new services that are going to come and that we as owners will be able to leverage. It does us absolutely no good, because sooner or later, if we think about it, and jump in if you think I'm incorrect, but sooner or later, you're going to sell your crypto. That's the reason that we're actually in this market. At the day of that you sell your crypto, what are you doing with that? You've now gone back into a fiat system. Where are you going to put your money? It's going to become centralized at that point anyhow. So instead of maybe selling all of your bags, which we're going to talk about the exit strategies here. And again, none of this is financial advice, just a conversation and one view that some guy has named Zip. You guys may have more practical and better ideas. Please let us know. But the minute you sell, which is the only reason most of us are in the markets, you're going back into a centralized system. So let's look and think into the future and begin to build strategies instead of selling. Maybe we can leverage our crypto, which is tax-free through loans and other things that we're going to talk about, to be able to stay in a tax-free environment. Now, one caveat to that, I will tell you, if in America, if it comes down that President Trump and David Sachs and all the big brains out there decide that there will be no tax on crypto in America, well, that changes things altogether. And obviously my exit strategies, your exit strategies may deviate a little bit, but as it stands today, we have to go on what truths we know and what information we know, which is right now it's taxed. So when you sell, there's a taxable event there, whether you sell into another crypto, that's a taxable event. You sell into a stable coin, it's a taxable event. If you sell to fiat, it's a taxable event. So we want to be thinking about all that. But the centralization of the larger financial system, I don't believe is going anywhere, but it is opening up an environment to level the playing field. And that's where we're trying to get to. And that's what we want. And I believe that's what the big picture is. Last thing. So they're trying to centralize again. This was the common theme. And yes, you're going to be in a centralized environment still. There's no two ways about it. And there's no way out of that I can see at this point in time. However, there are going to be great benefits. And let's walk through some of these. So again, why is it important for banks to come into the system, and why is it a pro? Settlement and clearance. Right now, it costs too much dang money to send money around. It takes too long. We want an internet of value, which I spoke to in one of the videos earlier this week. We want to be able to move our money easily. And we who are already in this market know we can do that right now, peer-to-peer. I can send you XRP, I can send you HBAR very easily. The problem is the larger institutions, the banking, where most of the folks in the real world, I guess I'll call it, are living, it's not there yet. So it does me no good to send my brother or my sister or whomever money in a peer-to-peer if they actually have to go pay a bill and utilize it, because they're still going to have to sell that crypto. But we're getting to an environment where all of that is probably going to be changing, and that's the exciting part. Cross-border payment transfers. We know right now there's the SWIFT system if we're wanting to send money across borders, which is way too clunky. That's the whole point to all this as well. The financial system is archaic, it's way too old, and it is being updated right before our eyes. And I just pulled this, this article up. And as an example, they're talking about Ripple here. We know that's the big slice that Ripple is working on beyond their tokenization, their RWA efforts and stuff. But we should be able to send money without getting charged and without waiting for a week to Japan, to New Zealand, to wherever we want to send money in a secure manner. That is all coming, folks. That's one of the other benefits of why we want banks integrated into the crypto environment, in my opinion. Fraud prevention and security. This is kind of an obvious one. Yes, we know that crypto can be more. And speaking of which, scammers out there, ignore them. Do not mess with the scammers. Please protect your stuff. But we know that fraud prevention and security utilizing blockchain technology is an immense positive for the banks, because right now they've got to keep track of too much stuff within the clearinghouses and the custody of our money. But that's all going to change with this technology. Asset tokenization. This is the big one. This is absolutely huge. Blockchain applications in banking enable the tokenization of assets such as real estate. And when we step through into our exit strategy, we're going to see as they start to tokenize real estate, stocks, bonds, that may be one of our exit strategies, to where we're getting out of a said crypto, but we're moving in to tokenization, to where I can buy real estate in New York City. I can buy real estate in Japan, wherever the case may be, because it will be tokenized within the blockchain. Absolutely huge, because right now I cannot do that, and it's too clunky and too hard. But with distributed ledger technology, all of that's coming. Very exciting, and to see where the future is going to go. Here's one of the big ones: loans and credits. Why not leverage our crypto? Be able to take a loan, be able to throw up, I don't know, 100 XRP when it's worth $1,000 per XRP, to be able to take a loan, which is, again, and this could change, but is a non-taxable event. I'm leveraging my crypto and being able to take a loan to go buy additional assets somewhere else, a loan to buy a house. Again, the bank is not taking ownership of my crypto. I'm giving it to them at a given point in time with a contract, probably a smart contract, and I'm going to be paying back off of that loan. These are all things that are coming, in my opinion. Very exciting to be in the world that we're in and to see this transformation. But again, this isn't today, but it's coming in the near future. We as crypto owners, we need to be thinking about this now, because it defines how we're going to exit as well. KYC, we know about the KYC stuff. Digital identity management, absolutely. They have to, because it's financial services, there has to be a digital identity management that will be all integrated within the blockchain and the centralized, if you would, banking institution environment. Smart contracts, we just talked about, those are coming. Regulatory compliance, TradeFi. So we know that TradeFi right now is clunky. It is loaded with tons and tons of paperwork and makes it very difficult. XDC, we talk about XDC a lot, or we think of XDC, at least I do, when we think about trade finance and the digital makeover that's coming between banks. Again, recording every step securely. The transactions between banks, exporters, and importers move faster and more securely. Again, leveraging the technology and maturing the current archaic system that is slow and clunky. Mortgage and property management, another benefit of the banking that will come to the banking system. Blockchain technology and banking streamlines the tracking of property and records. How nice will it be to not have to worry about your title insurance and all the title company stuff that we have to do now, when all of this is implemented on the blockchain? Again, real time, real processing, maybe not having to wait for 30 plus days to go through a closure of a real estate property that you may want to own. This is just one other capability that's coming to us in the future. And again, why we want the banks to be integrated with our crypto and the environment, not necessarily for them to hold our crypto. We're still going to maintain it. We're going to have custodial access to that. Insurance and claim processing, micro financing and crowdfunding, internal auditing and reporting. Again, the bottom line is making everything a lot faster than what it is to the system. But that's the big picture with the banks. Again, it's not to scare anyone. It's to look to where we are going. And honestly, in my opinion, where we want to go. with the banking institutions. Again, if there's any questions out there or comments, please throw them in the comment space there so we can have a deeper discussion if any of this does not make sense to you. So shifting gears a little bit, we're going to shift gears to an exit strategy and just some things to think about as we're preparing to exit. And I'm going to give you my personal background and some things that I stumbled through as we walk through this exit strategy piece. But you have to be up to date and you have to stay up to date on the markets, and you don't want FOMO to call. You don't want to be emotional is the bottom line, whether it's emotional because the markets are down or emotional because the markets are up, because at that given point in time when those emotions kick in, that's when mistakes are made and the greed gene comes in and everything that can counteract you taking crypto profits. So this is just to help me walk through the notes, but our exit strategies should be such as that we already know. And again, nothing I'm saying is financial advice, but we need to set, in my opinion, set your profit targets. And again, I get asked a lot of times, well, how much of a certain crypto should I own, or when should I sell my crypto? No one can give you that type of information. It's dependent upon each individual. If you are 50 to 60 years of age or older, and you've been in this market and you've been holding, I'm going to use XRP as an example, for a while, it may be time as the market booms a little bit. You may have a target set so that you can extract some of that capital and enjoy life. But if you're 20 years old to 30, maybe 35, you don't want to get into a hurry. You want to let it mature a little bit more. So again, the bottom line is you need to define your profit targets or exit strategy. And it's going to be dependent on you as an individual. Only you know what you require. But think long term. Do you really need to sell all of your bag? As I've stated previously, as we're building videos and building the community, I'm not selling all of my crypto because I'm waiting for the markets to mature with what we were just talking about moments ago about the banking environment. I'm never selling all of the XRP. I'm never selling all my HBAR unless something dramatic changes. I'm going to have a laddered approach. And as we walk through this, you'll see a laddered approach to sell and to be able to take some of that profit back and play on house money, so to speak. So maybe pull it off and go pay off some debt. Again, the pros to setting the laddered approach or your targets and have them written down so you know mentally as the markets are going crazy and things start driving up and you're seeing XRP worth $10, $20, $30, that FOMO is going to kick in and the greed gene kicks in, and you're going to be, and I'm speaking from experience, you're going to believe you're going to keep on holding on to that thing. And again, that is the market experience in the past. Things could be changing now. We may not be on these 4-year market cycles. Things could be changing to where things stabilize a little bit more and we don't have so much of a bear market going into the future. But traditionally we have. So I've held and waiting for to squeeze another $10 or $30 out of something. And then all of a sudden I wake up the next morning and the market is completely red, just like it is today. And I lose half of my portfolio. That is an absolutely horrible feeling. That's what you're trying to avoid. And that's why you want to set your profit targets and stick to them. Partial exit strategy, again, involves, and this is for some of the newer folks that maybe are not as familiar with crypto, it involves not selling all of your assets at once. Sell a portion of your holdings during the bull run and retain some for future gains. And again, that's why I am diversified. This is how I handle things, into multiple currencies, digital assets, if you would. So that way, if one is going up and one isn't going up, I can still leverage and make some money in the markets or sell off something else that maybe is not as mature in the market at the time, so I can take profits. But that's a partial exit. Again, pros, balanced approach while securing gains and having a potential for future growth. Again, you're putting ammunition away for later on, especially if you sell into like a stable coin and then the markets decline again. Now you take your stable coin and you go to Caleb and Brown or whoever your exchange is with, and now you buy more of XRP, HBAR, XLM, SHX, whatever meme coin you may be into, because you have more liquid capital that has been secured in a stable coin. Remember, a stable coin is a one-to-one relationship to whatever its currency value is. So RLUSD, as an example, is backed by the United States dollar. So it's one-for-one relationship. So if you sell out of XRP into RLUSD, you are then stabilized at that currency value. Now, remember, there's inflation involved. So you got to be thinking kind of long term. Cash is trash in many instances, and you don't want inflation to eat your butt. But it's a play, it's a possibility of something that you could absolutely do. Again, that's the diversification into stable coins. Common mistakes to avoid. So this is from history, my own history. Making mistakes while trading in cryptocurrency is common, right? I'm not a day-to-day trader. I DCA in, I hold long term, and I wait for my profit targets, like we spoken about minutes ago, for me to pull the trigger and to make profits. But if you can follow others and learn from their mistakes, and that's the key. That's why I'm building the things I'm building here and the content for the channel. I want absolutely everyone to succeed. I want you all to be millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires, hundredaires, whatever it may be for how much you hold, but I want everyone to succeed. So some of these mistakes and things that I'm talking about are from personal history of my own. And I would be a lot further ahead today had I learned these things from other folks and content creators instead of trying to do it my way. It's always best to learn from someone else's mistakes. But if you can, follow others and avoid the traps that they got into. What are some of the common mistakes that happen? We exit too early due to fear. So today, as a prime example, the markets are down and people capitulate and they sell out of their positions because of fear of the market. You don't want to sell too early. And that's why, again, it goes back to your price targets. If you have a price target for XRP at $5, you should not even be looking at the market right now. When it gets to $5, now it's time to make that trade if it's a decision that you made to exit some of your capital out of the market at that time. But that's why personally, Zip, I don't pay attention to the markets too much. I keep an eye on them so I have an awareness so I can look at the timing and see what's going on and see if institutional value is coming to the market. Absolutely. But I don't ride the emotional roller coaster of the fluctuation of the markets being up and down, because it creates fear and you end up selling out of a position and then you try to buy back into the position and you're buying back at a higher value. So again, learned that the hard way, and I don't want anyone in this community to do that. So just something to think about. Holding an asset for far too long makes a trader overly optimistic for their asset's future. Now, if you've been holding XRP and you have an echo chamber and that's the only thing you're hearing about is XRP as an example, it can make you more optimistic than maybe what reality is. Now, I will tell you with XRP, we are still very early with that, but I have been in other coins and crypto to where I was overly optimistic of what I thought the future value was going to do. And I no longer had a clear perspective. I bought some of the hype as an example many times. But again, this goes back to you each individual doing their own research and just making sure that you understand what you hold. And if you're confident, hold away. But if there are clear indications and signs that a project is having problems, then you may want to do a true evaluation and get out of said project. None of the ones that we're talking about, XRP, HBAR, and all that, I don't believe they're in that echo chamber, so to speak, or in that conversation. Sorry, but because they're real world applications and we are very early and we can see what's going on. But I've been in other projects that were very, very, very speculative, and I held way too long and I paid the price for it. So again, just be smart. Please maintain your mindset and do your own research. Something else we need to think about is the fees when you're selling crypto. We talked about this a minute ago. Things are changing. If the environment becomes tax-free in America, I'm speaking to specifically because that's my residence, things could change with this. But you've got to keep in mind when you go to sell, how much is it going to cost you? One, you have taxes to consider. Two, you have the fees of whatever environment you're selling. If you're using Uphold, if you're using Caleb and Brown, there are fees associated with that. So now is the time to educate ourselves and make sure that we know how much it's going to cost us when we exit, especially from a tax perspective. And that's why I don't do a lot of day trading, if you would, in the crypto market and stuff like that. But make sure we're evaluating what it's going to cost us when we sell. Highly, very, very, very important. So what do we do post-moon? What are we going to do with our profits? And this is the fun part to me of the conversation. And this is where the good ideas come in. And please post them if you have any of them. But post-moon, exiting your crypto position successfully is only half part of the journey. And honestly, that's the easiest part. It's hard to sell, but because of the emotions. But once you sell, what are you going to do now to secure those profits? Are you just going to dump it back into a dollar or whatever currency denomination where you live into and let inflation eat your butt? Not me. I'm going to look to effectively manage those profits to build future financial generational wealth security for my family. So here are just some ideas. Here's some ways to do that. Diversify into other investments. What other investments can we diversify into? Again, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. That's why my crypto portfolio is diversified. But you can allocate your profits into other asset classes like real estate. And as tokenization becomes more prevalent and HBAR is tokenizing real estate, maybe I take those assets and then I tokenize into a real estate portfolio on the blockchain, and I buy real estate, or I buy traditional real estate. I take it, flip it, go buy a property that I think is going to make me money and in the future, or is at least in a secure environment to make me money, possibly into mutual funds. I'm probably going to stay more so on the crypto sphere side of things instead of the traditional markets. But if you're older and you want to secure your profits, possibly mutual funds is at play. How about purchase of businesses? How about taking our profits and buying businesses that we've been eyeballing to be able to leverage and make more money off of? Starting your own business. I don't know, maybe it's storage as an example, and you go and buy a storage business with your profits. Again, the point here is regenerating and using your capital, not just when moon, go buy Lambo, go buy Mercedes, go buy whatever things that you may want to get into. My perspective, I'm not big on things. I want to be able to leverage what I make in profits, roll it back into something else that's going to make me long-term money. And then down the road, when I feel secure and maybe I have some FU money, maybe go buy a Lambo. I don't know. But I would advise against doing that immediately. Again, not financial advice, but you gotta do you and your own thing. How about infinite banking? This is one of the things a lot of people don't understand. Infinite banking basically is, and I'm going to say the word life insurance and everybody's going to shut their ears off, but it's strategically designed life insurance to where I can roll my profits back into my policy, and then I can leverage myself because I'm about being my own bank and pulling those profits back out from a loan, my money, using my money from a loan, and go buy other assets that way. If you're not familiar with infinite banking, I've got a couple videos in here about those, but that is something you may want to evaluate as a possible opportunity to secure future wealth. Again, it's about generational wealth. I don't want to make money and lose money, because that's what generally most people do. They make a lot of money, they spend a lot of money, and then they never have any more money. Sudden wealth syndrome is going to hit a lot of us. I believe a lot of people listening to this, whether it's live or you listen to it in the future, you are absolutely future millionaires if you're holding some of the assets that I talk about: XRP, HBAR, XDC. There's millionaires right now listening to this. It's not a realized gain at this point, but it is coming to you. And you don't want to have that sudden wealth syndrome to where you're an instant millionaire, so to speak. We have a slow lottery ticket. It's just not instant, but it's there. We're all millionaires, in my opinion. But that sudden wealth syndrome is a huge, huge practical issue that you need to be prepared for. So now's the time to think about your exit strategy and how you're going to diversify and secure that wealth. Again, I want everyone to absolutely have the most phenomenal life going forward that they can. And that's the only reason I'm talking about this stuff, trying to get the word out. Other commodities, you could invest in other commodities to, again, diversify your portfolio. One of the first things you should do is probably create an emergency fund, right? Life happens, things happen in life. Have an emergency fund of secure profit that you can use as a cushion. If the first big exit from this doesn't create millions for you, at least have that emergency fund so you're ready to go in the event that an air conditioner, a car, something goes out at your house, and you have secured that. And again, you're good to go in the future, and you don't have to worry about selling your crypto that is going to be growing in the future because you have a life emergency. So these are just practical things. Pay off your debts. And when I say pay off debts, I'm talking about unrealized debts like credit cards and stuff like that. I don't believe that debt is a liability, especially if it's debt in real estate, in businesses and such. If you are business savvy and you are smart with your debt can actually make you more money, but that's a whole nother channel and another subject. But basically, paying off your debts, get rid of those high interest payment credit cards and all that stuff that's costing you a lot of money day by day. Absolutely pay it off. And how about creating a trust? So my friend in the channel, Staple Crew, who's probably going to have a live here shortly. That's why I'm going to want to get off of here so I can listen to him. But Alan Staple talks about this a lot. Creating a trust for generational wealth preservation. We are trying to get that information out. I know he is trying to get that information out to as many folks as possible. It's about generational wealth, folks. I am looking long-term, long past when ZIP expires, graduates, moves on to the whatever is in the afterlife that you believe in. But I want my money to be utilized from generation to generation. So this is one of the biggest ones for me, creating that, generational wealth preservation strategy. That is absolutely something that each and every one of you should be thinking about, and not getting caught up on crypto go up, dollar go up, I made a lot of money, I'm going to spend a lot of money, in my opinion. So generational wealth preservation is absolutely a huge thing that we should be looking for. And again, these are just some things that I think about as we're going through this exit and want to get out to the community, want to get out to you folks. Here's another play, and this is a play that I made a few years ago. Some of you may have, as an example, traditional Roth IRAs. Oh, I got to take a drink real quick. You may have traditional Roth IRAs. This is an absolute play. So back in 2019, I basically took a traditional Roth that wasn't doing well. You know, I was making the nominal 8%, maybe 11%, and I was happy a year with the fund that I was in. I rolled that into a Roth with iTrustCapital. I feel very secure with them. Again, not selling them as the only one, but they're pretty widely known, and I've been with them for 6 years. If it's something that interests you, there's a link in all of my videos. Check them out and make your own decision. Again, do your research. But rolling into a Roth IRA, that's tax-free future income in the current system environment. Now, I am only recommending that if you already have a traditional Roth IRA. Would I take my fiat money and necessarily roll it into a Roth, or would I just buy the crypto? For ZIP, I'm just going to buy the crypto. I'm going to self-custodial it myself, and probably not put it back into the system. But that's just my own philosophical reasons of why, 401ks and Roths, there's tax implications there in some of those capital or in some of those tools. But again, this is a play. Take what you have now in a current Roth and roll it into a crypto Roth, because within there now you can stack more XRP, you can stack HBAR, you can stack Quant, you can stack Algo, and you're able to move in and out at a non-tax environment. And that is the key. And that's why I like iTrustCapital and the Roth. It's an easy way to avoid taxes, long-term as well as short-term when you're investing. So that's my play there. We mentioned I've had a lot of conversations about crypto, about crypto, but Caleb and Brown, I've had a lot of folks ask about this. I cannot speak to your specific region or area necessary, geographic location, like how it works. However, a link is in my channel as well. Call them, do your own research, and see if this is something that would work for you. It's white glove service. I love Caleb and Brown. In the US, you can wire money to them through their bank in Chicago. I think it's Burley Bank, it's called. But I utilize them all the time for my trading because I know I'm going to be able to get in the trade and out of the trade. And I have never had any issues with them. They use fire blocks. If you want to custody your stuff with them, you can do that. You have your own wallet. You can absolutely keep your stuff there. I do that if I'm looking to get in and out of something. But my long-term storage is cold storage. I keep everything on cold storage. That's my personal way to go. Outside, I do have some web wallets because certain technologies we invest in, like HBAR as an example. I want to be able to stake it, and a web wallet is the easiest way to do that. However, I authenticate that web wallet with my hardware wallet. So it's still secured in that environment. But again, Caleb and Brown, another play, just another strategy as we're speaking today in this live, just to talk about exit strategies and the big picture. I check them out if you want, and they've worked well for me. But again, with that, folks, I just wanted to get on today and talk about the markets in general. Yep, they're still down. Please don't let the FUD scare you. Don't let the markets scare you. This is all normal. Know what you hold. And I believe if you hold the currencies, the assets that I speak to, you are going to be absolutely fine. Again, not financial advice. You got to make your own decision, but the world is changing very, very fast. And we are absolutely moving into a exciting future. And I believe this is kind of speculation Sunday, but I still believe in the next 3 to 6 months, some of your bags that you're holding are going to be worth a whole lot of money, and the profits are going to be there. And that's why I just want to get the word out to strategize now and think about that, because 3 to 6 months, even a year, is not a long amount of time. Some of us have been holding for a long, long time. So we should be prepared. But for the new folks, if you have any questions at all about, web wallets, hardware wallets, drop them in the comments. Now's the time to, if I can help you and assist you, that's what I'm here for, just to educate you. I'm not here to make a dime off of you. I just want to get the education out, and I want us all to win. And I'm looking forward to the future and trying to build the relationships again with folks. So when this thing pops, we're all spending time together on the beaches of the world. I say that all the time, but in the mountains, traveling, whatever the case is, whatever your dreams are, folks, you got to have those dreams out in front of you. And again, you want to see them, picture them, because they absolutely will come true, in my humble opinion and belief, if you are invested. We are so stinking early in this crypto market, and very, very exciting time. So now's the time to prepare and just be safe. Again, the banner, avoid the scammers. There are so many scammers out there. Do not interact with the bots in YouTube. I try to delete everything as much as possible, but they just keep on reappearing. But do not interact with anybody that you do not know, whether it's out on X. And again, join us out on X if you're not. Come out on X. There's a lot of good information out there. Please join me out there. And it's just an environment to gain more knowledge. And there are so many great content providers out there. And I'm just trying to do my little part to build a community, to help everybody, to help the world, because I see where this is going. And we are so, so early still. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, please have an absolutely fantastic rest of your weekend, or the beginning and the start of your week, depending on when you're listening to this. Stay safe, stay secure, be smart, keep your mindset up no matter what the markets are doing. And we will see what content drops this week, and I'll be there to put out that information and walk in this journey together with you. Again, appreciate all of you. Like, subscribe, get this information out. And with that, Zip is out.